All right, guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be talking about the importance of quitting video games. Now, this might be, a heavy hitter for some of you like gamers out there, as I used to be, but it's very important. And there's a lot of things that come out of quitting video games that I would like to preach onto you.
All right, guys. Well, you know it's going to be a good one when he starts off by clapping like he's congratulating himself. Anyway, let's see what this man has to say about why video games are bad and why it's important that you quit right now. Anyway, I've never said this in a video before and I want to see the things light up, so make sure you like and subscribe.
So the first thing I want to get into is why they're actually bad for you, right? I mean, that's why I'm here. I mean, obviously, if they were good for you, I wouldn't be telling you to quit them. So
Right, because if something was wrong, you just wouldn't say it, obviously. This is actually how I argue with people if they're just giving me unsolicited criticism. Like, I'll say some shit like, yeah, if that was the wrong thing to do, I wouldn't have done it, so shut the fuck up. But, that's a way of dealing with pests who are trying to criticize you when you never ask for their opinion, not a way of actually getting people on your side about things. Anyway, let me guess. You're gonna say that because they're not actively good for you, that means they're bad for you, right?
if you're competing, doing esports or doing anything where you're making money, possibly good, go for you. Good for you.
Oh, we're doing the if it doesn't make you money, it's bad arc. Okay.
Do your own thing. It takes a large portion of your time to sit there, even for just an hour, 2 hours, of just whether you're upgrading your character and whatever you're playing. League of Legends. There's so many games that you could be playing. It doesn't matter what you're playing. What matters is how much time you're spending into it and how much time you could be spending that into something else that would actually improve your life.
If you don't have at least an hour or two a day to just do what you want and not worry about being productive, you need to restructure your life somehow.
The reality is you could be doing a lot more with your time than playing video games, and that might be harsh to hear, but it's honestly the truth.
About 10 years ago, I was working full time while taking online classes part time. And a year after that, I was still doing all of that, but I was also doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and had a girlfriend. I still found time to play video games. I actually got pretty good at Chivalry Medieval Warfare, and I started playing Dark Souls within that time and actually beat it within that time. It's all about balance. You don't want to devote yourself mindlessly to work, just like you don't want to devote yourself mindlessly to pleasure seeking and neglecting the important areas of your life. Basically, you want to build your life, but you want your life to be enough fun that it's worth building. Like I always tell people, there's no point in working for a fancy house and a fancy car if you're never in your fancy house because you're always at work and the only place you drive your fancy car to is to work.
The second thing I want to get into is it greatly affects your productivity as a whole, right? I mean, let's say you're at work or at school or just doing something that you're supposed to be doing, and all you can think about is going home and just playing video games.
So wait, is having something to look forward to considered bad now? I remember when I was cleaning floors for a living, a lot of the times what would get me through my day is just thinking about planning out the next raid I was gonna do in Mountain Blade after I got home. Like, I would just think about that while I was running the floor scrubber, whatever. Having something to look forward to rather than just thinking work, 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 it actually can make your day a lot less dull and make it feel a lot less hopeless if you are in a job that you don't like.
The third reason why video games are bad for you, and this is a big one, the CEOs of these companies, these like Blizzard, Epic Games, whatever it is, their main objective is to keep your brain occupied onto their game to make more money, to make more screen time, whatever the hell it is. Their objective is to get you and I, us, consumers, to sit there and play their video games and just turn our brains off and just go into this little realm of playing video games when it's not good. They know it's not good. They don't want us starting businesses. They don't want us going to the gym. They don't want us improving our own life, and they want to just suck our time away, waste our time, and get us to spend money, get us to spend time on their platform. That's what their objective is.
I mean, welcome to capitalism, baby. They don't really care what you do. besides gaming. They just want your money. And yes, some of them do have predatory microtransactions and, subscription fees like for World of Warcraft. You can combat this by being an educated consumer and not playing the games that are meant to be microtransaction pay to win farms. It's really not that hard to do. I've managed it. And if you do find yourself playing a game that's meant to get you addicted, exercise a little bit of self control. Like, I don't understand these people who have to treat themselves like children in order to not get, like, hopelessly addicted to things. Like, if you don't learn how to do things in moderation, you're not going to experience any of the joys of being an adult and being able to make your own choices, because you're constantly going to have to structure your life the way that a parent structures the life of a small child. If you have to give yourself no freedom and no taste of things that are supposedly bad or could be bad, I think you need to seek some kind of therapy, because you have an addictive personality and you're missing out on a lot of stuff because of that. I'm gonna have to turn off Discord. I keep getting notifications while I'm trying to record here.
Now, bit of a controversial one, but the fourth reason why I think video games are horrible and just bad for you in general is they're designed to be fun and to keep you comfortable and to keep you just at ease with whatever you're doing,
If you think that fun and comfort are bad things, you are either an idiot or, worse yet, a stoic.
If you're playing Rocket League, just sitting there and scoring a cool goal that you haven't scored before, it's fun, it's exciting, I get it, I used to be there. You wake up a day later and you're in the same boat that you were in the day before. And you don't even realize it until you stop.
Okay, but what if you're somewhat established in life and you kind of like the boat that you're in? I don't know, I would estimate about 20 years old. Maybe you have a troubled past or something. I don't know you. I don't know how you've been in the past, okay? But I was able to play video games while making steady progress forward in my 20s. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm still playing video games while still leading a productive adult life. And honestly, I'm glad I got good at games like Dark Souls when I was still in my 20s, because now that I'm older and have a few more responsibilities, I can just pick up games like that and casually play them and not have to worry about the sweaty try-hard stuff and trying to like force myself to get good and devote all those hours to it, because I did it when I had time to. Now it's just a casual sort of way to decompress at the end of the day.
That's the main thing I want to get into, is you don't realize how much time you're spending and how much potential you're wasting by sitting there and playing video games.
Actually, I stream Elden Ring and Dark Souls so I can look back and see exactly how much time I'm wasting. As for potential, I use that potential shit during the day. I stream at night. It's all good, bro.
I played video games for all of my life, damn near, minus a year ago. I completely stopped. Cold turkey, stopped playing video games.
Okay, kid, you want to hear some good advice? This is the best advice I give people. Life basically ends at 25 unless, bear with me here, this sounds like a radical thing, life ends at 25. It ends at 25 unless you make a conscious effort to hold on to the things that you enjoyed when you were young. That can be video games, that can be music, that can be sports. For me, it's video games and music. If I had let those things be eroded and replaced by just grinding all the time, I would have no youthful edge left at this point. I would become a background character in my own life, as many people do when they start getting older. A lot of people think being older means losing your edge, it means losing your old identity, replacing it with this sort of carbon copy NPC, just, I'm going to keep my head down and grind. My job is my identity, my economic status is my identity. They have no passion anymore. And I look at these people and I try to help them, and they usually don't want help because they're too far gone at that point. They've completely lost their edge, and it just feels gross to me, man. It's sad.
It's only then when I really realized how much time I was spending. Now, a problem, a serious problem that I see with this is a lot of these gamers have friends and groups who also really enjoy gaming, and those are the people that they end up talking to the most because they have something in common. The
Oh, you're mad because we have friends? I mean, weird take, but go off.
problem with this is if you don't have a circle of people around you to help promote your life individually and how you can get off of your feet, get money, get fitness, get whatever you want.
One of my friends from college is a pretty hardcore gamer and is also a competitive power lifter. I'm pretty good at boxing, martial arts stuff. And sometimes he'll teach me how to power lift. I'll teach him how to throw a punch. Just because sometimes we've played video games together doesn't mean we're dragging each other down into this life of stagnation. You have this black and white, all or nothing attitude that is common among young people, but is often exacerbated by this sort of self help, hustle culture, Andrew Tate nonsense. Um, these people usually they just want to sell you classes and they capitalize on this kind of youthful naivete, seeing the world in black and white, blindness to any kind of balance. I think you might have fallen for their bullshit, and I think you kind of want to be one of them now.
Okay, it's not going to happen by you sitting there twiddling your thumbs on Fortnite or Call of Duty.
Well, of course, you're not going to get anywhere in life by playing Fortnite or Call of Duty. True success comes from playing Dark Souls.
It's not going to happen. It just simply won't. The fact that you and your friends would rather sit there and play Call of Duty while there are other men grinding, hustling, reading, putting their phones down for hours at a time. They're thinking about, I have a goal, I have a reason to be here, and I have to do it or else I am a failure. You cannot compete with these people. You can't. You simply can't.
These people are miserable balls of inhibitions and neuroses, and for that simple reason, I will be ahead of them. Do you really think you're gonna get any girls if you have these kinds of mindsets of hating yourself and constantly being worried that you're a failure? No, that will erode your personality and turn you into a very boring person. And while you're away at work, I'm gonna be plowing your girl. Nah, I'm kidding about that one, but someone similar to me will be.
You sitting there spending time playing Call of Duty. Oh, I got to kill. I kind of lost track of thought, but you get what I'm saying. There's people that are doing more than you are, and that needs to upset you. That needs to make you uncomfortable. That needs to get you to get the motivation and drive to try something new.
I don't know, it sounds like you just want the rest of us to be as insecure as you are. When I'm on my deathbed, I'll look back and think that I had a life that was mostly worth living. I mean, we all have to struggle sometimes, but to willingly deprive yourself of fun is a very unhealthy mindset, and to hate yourself for doing stuff just because it's fun, I would say is kind of a sign of mental illness. Like, you might want to go to therapy, bro. Like, I don't normally suggest that, but I don't know. You're trying to min-max your whole life and like hyper optimize it, and you're optimizing the fun out of everything.
To start a business, go to the gym, do something that you need to do. You need to have something that gives you the same amount of excitement and passion that video games do. You need to find that alternative that actually is productive for you. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be yoga, it could be jump rope, it could be running. It doesn't matter. All of these things have benefits that video games do not have.
I actually agree that everyone should dedicate at least a year of their life to trying to become as physically strong as possible. They should hit the gym, they should see what their body's really capable of when they push it. But at the same time, I don't consider a lot of these productive things fun. I do them because they're good for me, but I come home at the end of the day and, I fire up some ultrakill or some Doom Eternal, Dark Souls, something like that, and I just relax. There's nothing wrong with doing the things that you have to do because you have to do them, but then coming home and just doing something mindlessly fun.
Simply, I want to talk about how I was able to quit.
Let me guess, your mom grounded you from the Xbox?
because I never fully understood how bad it was or just how addicted I was until I actually quit and took some time off and realized, wow, I'm doing so much more with my life. I'm so much more productive. Like, I wake up and I have things to do. I choose what I want to do in my life. I'm not a leaf in the wind. I don't let life choose for me. I choose what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it.
Wait, are you making an argument against playing video games, or are you making an argument against full-time employment now? Because you'll find that once you have a full-time job, that's the real thing that stops you from doing what you want when you want.
I have a schedule. I've never felt so alive in my entire life. I truly believe that quitting video games was the number one reason that I stopped the man who I was and just completely reprogrammed myself into this better version of myself.
Okay, well, I would wager that in all practical matters, I'm about your equal. The difference is that I'm happier.
Now, this is one of the reasons that I was able to quit, and this was one of the first signs I was like, okay, this is going too far. I had a buddy who I'd play Rust with a lot. We would play a lot of Rust. Great guy. I mean, awesome dude, but just always on the Discord, always playing Rust, no matter what. I don't care what time. It could be 5 in the morning and this kid's on Rust. He's been playing for 6 hours all night, every day. I didn't realize just how bad this was.
Okay, well, there's the real problem. He was playing Rust. There are some games that are meant to be kind of time sinks, and they require a ton of dedication because they're just frustrating if you try to play them casually. I remember my life did improve when I stopped playing RuneScape, for instance. Not all games are created equal, and these, like, sort of hardcore online multiplayer things where you always have to be grinding to keep up as if it's a job, yeah, those can ruin your life if you go all in on them. But that's not every game, is it?
Until he showed me how many hours he has on one game, not even on his computer as a whole, on one game. He had an entire 365 days. I think it was 367 actually, on one game.
Okay, so that sounds like it would be really bad. There are some instances where that could be okay. Like if you're playing only the same game for like a decade, like if the only game I played was Dishonored, for instance, I've been playing that since 2012. If I was just broke and that was the only game I played, I couldn't afford any other games, I would probably have that much time on Dishonored by now. That is more of a matter of either taste or of being broke than anything else. I mean, unless this guy's just been unemployed and rotting and he's just accumulated that over a couple years, then I would say, you know, you've got a problem then. But I need more info, need more context.
An entire year of his life. An entire year. Think about how much potential you have in a year. 12 months. And he spent it on bullshit. An entire year of my friend's life was on one game. This guy plays games all the time. And he had spent an entire... I can't even fathom that. That was the first kind of realization of, oh, okay, I need to quit. But here's how I actually was able to quit. Now, aside from everything I just told you, obviously it was starting to weigh on me of how much time I was playing and just the people I was hanging out with as a whole. Limit yourself. 30 minutes a day. As soon as you're done with your 30 minutes, off. Don't even think about it.
Okay, so this goes back once again to the it's sad when you need to treat yourself like a child thing. If you have the self-control to do that, you probably have the self-control to find some kind of balance where you can play games a little more regularly than that, but still lead a productive life.
Now, you're gonna think about it, but as soon as you have those urges to play video games,
goon for an hour instead.
When you're not playing video games, as soon as you have that urge, immediately the first thought should be, what else could I do right now? How could I improve my situation right now? Every time you have an urge of, I want to sit down, I want to play Rocket League, or I want to sit down, I want to play, like, I just want a game. I just want to go into my little zone, enter my little bubble, and I want a game. Every time you have that thought, if you had already played you could be an hour a day, whatever it is for you, whatever is comfortable for you, you need to set a limit of how long you're playing.
I don't know, maybe I'm speaking from a position of privilege here, but I've always been able to do that somewhat intuitively ever since I became an adult. Like, I never really had an issue of just spending days and days rotting away playing games with no sense of how long I was doing it or what else needed done. But I don't know, man. Maybe this is a personal issue you can work on. Could be an addictive personality. Could be some kind of depression or something that you're trying to hide from if you're doing that. Or it could just be because you're young. I mean, if I've overestimated your age and you're actually, like, still a high school kid, like, it's almost kind of normal to do that then. I mean, get it out of your system when you're young. For me, it just kind of, I naturally found my rhythm as I got older.
A week or 2 weeks, you will have a complete different mindset, and your judgment of video games and your judgment of yourself will be so much better. You will just have higher standards, and that's what you need. One thing that helped me is every time you die or every time there's a cut screen or anytime you have a little break, do 20 push-ups. Do it. 20 push-ups. It can't.
Okay, rare bit of good advice there. I think I've done something like this before back when I was starting to get into fitness and back when I still had like really long load screens because I was a console gamer. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Every time you die, do some push-ups. That's actually a good way to balance gaming with fitness. Doesn't mean you need to quit gaming.
Can't hurt. Can't do 20, do 10. Can't do 10, do 5. Whatever it is. Set a goal for yourself. Do it. Nobody has time to sit there and judge your excuses. Nobody's going to tell you, hey, maybe you should cut that out a little bit. It has to be you. You have a choice. You do. You can either better yourself or you can continue playing video games and be in the same situation years. Doesn't matter. Your choice. I know there's people like me. I know there's some of you out there that just don't want to admit to themselves that I don't need to play video games. Maybe you don't even have fun anymore. Maybe you don't find video games fun and you still play them anyways because you have nothing else to do.
Yes, that is an unfortunate situation some people find themselves in. It is good that you find something else, but once again, balance is key. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I don't know what else to do because you're essentially saying the same thing over and over again.
If your friends are, hey, Nick, let's play Fortnite tonight. Like we got 4 people, we can run squads, we can do. No, I'm sorry. I have stuff to do. There's more important things for me to do. I can't. I'm sorry. Simple as that. Now, there's going to be people that are going to get butthurt. They're going to be like, oh, you changed. Oh, you don't want to play games with us? Like, oh, is it us? Like, what's the problem? Like, this isn't you. Like, that's what you're going to hear. And it's your choice if you want to cower away into them or do your own thing. It's up to you.
Okay, it sounds like you're probably a college student who has newly discovered that you actually need to study now that you're in college. That happened to me too, and I eventually got to where I could be responsible for things. I really think your views on life are going to kind of even out over time, become a little bit less extreme. It's a good thing because when I read your profile, it really sounded like you were gonna be one of those self-help grifter types who just really wanted to break into the motivational speaking circuit. But you posted this video 10 months ago and you haven't posted anything since. So I think you've at least found enough balance to lean away from that a little bit. So you've probably progressed.
There's nothing wrong with saying no. There's a lot of good things that come from saying no. Simply just saying no to people. You can say no to your friends. You can. If they want to play video games, and let's say all this friend group of yours does is play video games. It doesn't matter. You'll find people that are like you. Once you're on this journey to, whether it's fitness or financials
or becoming a femboy,
whatever it is, once you're on this journey, you will find people that have the same thoughts and interests as you. And you will be much more happy to hang out with them and talk business or go to the gym with them than play video games. Anytime you have some like actual downtime where you physically cannot do anything more productive and you have nothing else to do and you're actually bored, you can sit there and play for a little bit. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so you've gone from like the ridiculous video games are terrible, you shouldn't play them thing to the more reasonable, hey, when you have some free time, you can play some video games thing. Were you trolling in the beginning? Was this clickbait? Did I get clickbaited? Is that what happened?
It's unbelievable the amount of people that sit there and game for hours, and it's considered normal. They invite their friends over for pizza, and they play Call of Duty all night. Like, that's a good night to some people. It's not.
I mean, when I was your age, I was playing beer pong and smoking cigarettes in a basement, so playing Call of Duty is probably healthier than that.
At least to me. Do something to negate your brain from thinking, I have to play video games. Do something to get out of that habit. That's the first step. I want you to do this. Before I conclude, I want you guys to do this. 2 weeks of no video games. And every time you have the urge to sit there and play with your friends or do whatever you want to do, every time you want to turn on your PlayStation,
Drink 12 beers instead.
get a notebook out, write down one thing you could be doing instead of video games that would improve your life. It's been great, guys. That's the end of my first video. Hopefully you learned something. Nick Fox out.
Okay, guys, so I don't really know how to wrap this one up. I was gonna wrap it up by just more dunking on this kid and making fun of him, but I really think his extreme, nonsense views were more of just an attention grabber. He sort of mellowed out over the course of the video. It's almost like as he was talking through it, he realized he was being ridiculous and came to a more nuanced viewpoint. I don't know. Maybe talking to a camera is good therapy for this kid. Anyway, that's really all for this video. Like and subscribe.